What's going on, everybody? It's Colev, and Deadlock just released a brand new update. It is a pretty massive update compared to the micro updates that they've been kind of pushing out over the past few weeks now. This is definitely one of the biggest updates for sure. There's a lot to get into this video, so let's get right into it. If you want to go ahead and read all this yourself, there's going to be a link down in the description that you can go through every little detail. We're going to go through most of it in this video here, but in case you wanted to kind of go back, reference things, it'll be down in the description. So as you can see, one of the biggest things that they added is a brand new character named Mirage. He has a lot of different abilities. We'll get to that by the end of the video, but brand new character. So awesome that they're already putting new characters out, have new characters on the lineup. Definitely a welcome addition to the game. The second massive thing that they brought to the game finally is a anti-cheat system, and it's definitely a different type of system compared to systems that I've seen before. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. So added initial anti-cheat detection system. When a user is detected as cheating during the game session, the opponent will be given the choice between banning the user immediately and ending the match, or turning the cheater into a frog for the rest of the game and then banning them afterwards. The system is set to conserve detection levels as we work on a V2 anti-cheat system that is more extensive. We will turn on the banning of users in a couple of days after the update is out. When the match is ended this way, the result will not count for other players. So that's pretty cool and pretty funny. I guess pretty memey. They got a little meme down here too. So yeah, really good for the game. I haven't had too many issues with cheaters or anything like that, but I have seen that people have had issues. So this is pretty good that Valve's already, getting on top of this. So we got some more stuff here. Added global quick cast support. You can now configure your abilities and/or items to be on quick cast mode globally. You can also customize each ability individually to be quick cast or not. This also supports grenade style abilities. Hero specific keybinds now say the ability name instead of 1 through 4, which I guess overall, that's pretty good as far as understanding and knowing what abilities you're going to be telling your teammates if you're in the fight. Oh, I'm using this ability, using that ability. So I think it's good for newer players for sure. Added zipline hotkey that can be independently bound from space and jump. Pretty sick. Fixed a per hero keys not inheriting user defined default keys properly. I've had this issue before, and the only way I can fix it was by resetting all my keybinds to default. So I'm glad they fixed that. Added keybind indicator for hero specific binds showing which keys have been bound for that hero. Cool. Added custom match play mode, which is great because in the past you had to go to the console and you could set it up that way. Now it's just included in the game, so that's sick. Private lobbies can have the option to turn on cheats. That's pretty cool. I guess for maybe competitive scene, custom lobbies, custom rules, things like that. Private lobbies now let you select a specific servers to use, which is also good. Private lobbies now have the option to make the match publicly visible or private to only the players. Private lobbies now support post-game and replays properly. Private lobbies now allow picking specific lanes. Solo and dual lane colors are displayed. Pretty sweet. Added a cheat report option in-game and post-game. Can now mute and report enemy players using escape while in-game. Updated the game's access invite UI to make it clear when users have accepted. In most cases, as we look into the user said their friend wasn't accepted and the user was actually accepted, but they never claimed the game on Steam. Okay, so I've actually had this issue recently. I've invited some people and they haven't got it for some reason, or at least they haven't got the game. Steam hasn't given them the game after I invited them. So glad that this is getting fixed or is fixed. Added voice indicators for players speaking in the party and team chat. Green for party, white for team. Updated player card and action menu when clicking on the player in the friends list or escape menu. Fixed rich presence for Steam and in-game friends list. Not sure what that is. Party code is now hidden when you enable streamer mode. Really solid for streaming, obviously. Added region indicator to the matches on the watch tab. Fixed search by match ID not working for games that are live. Added spectator frog or war toggle hotkeys available in the settings. So that's kind of cool. Added South African servers, more availability to more players. Added Italian localization. Not sure what that means, but sweet. Instead of showing the total number of favorites for each build, we now tag popular builds using a mix of both recent and historical usage so that newer builds are easier to find. I think the build system in this game is top tier. I think every single game needs to have this. Just the ability to be creative, make your own builds, and even share those with the community, I think is a massive W for Valve. Builds that haven't been updated in 30 days now have a distinct visual, so that's good. Builds, and as the game gets updated, things will get out of date, so I think it's a good indicator not to use a certain build Or maybe, you know, you can look at the build and it still might be relevant. Who knows? You never know, really. General rendering and performance improvements, shadow quality improvements for higher shadow settings, fixed issues with the player's online rendering FSR2, fixed regression with saturation volumes outlining not showing up. Okay, so this is a bunch of you know, display and video settings, graphical settings, stuff like that. Okay, picking up a power up will now list all the stats they modify in the HUD instead of a generic name like casting or gun. More information, always good. Spirit scaling is now always shown at the top tips without needing to hold Alt Tab. Updated viscous icon to look more different from Dynamo. Nice. Added frosted shell effect on Regen crystal when frozen shelter is active. Music and sound effects will now pause during the game pause. That crap is so funny when people do that, bro. Fixed Guardian trying to shoot people unsuccessfully behind cover. Nice. And as you can see, there is a ton of different things here. I don't want to get into every little aspect of the update. There's a ton of things, man. A ton of gameplay changes, obviously a ton of bug fixes, quality of life improvements, things like that. If you want to go in, like I said, it's going to be down in the description. You can go in and check out every little detail that you want and get the most information that you can. They fixed, or not fixed, but they've changed vitality items, spirit items, all the items, right? They've changed the way the weapons work. They changed heroes, damages. They changed a lot of different things. This update is definitely one of those like massive Tekken updates or Street Fighter updates where they just do a whole bunch of balance changes. So this is definitely one of the bigger updates for sure. So before we actually get into the gameplay, we'll go over these last things right here as far as map changes. So outer lanes in the middle of the map pushed further away from the inner lanes, added connection from canal near the earned platforms through the radio station and apartment buildings. So you can see it's right here, and you can see the difference in the lane changes in the map. Reworked corridors of Fish Market Nursery to exit the building sooner, added interior room partition from the Fish Market Nursery to the shops, moved rope from the Fish Market Nursery rooftop to the back of the building, removed, that's an interesting change actually, removed upper interior hallway from the rope of the Fish Market Nursery to rooftops, moved truck from in front of the archway with Cosmic Veil to the back of the Fish Market Nursery. Interesting, yeah, so now it's in the back. I guess that kind of makes sense before, because before it was like in the front side. I don't know. I don't know how much it's actually going to make a difference, but it's definitely an interesting change. Redesigned the outer lane path, the zip lines and trooper nodes from the Walker to the Guardian, amber yellow and sapphire purple. So as you can see right here, kind of had more of a vertical drop down and then diagonal, and now it looks like it's all diagonal. I'm trying to see if it's actually longer. I don't think so, but there's definitely more, it's more open here. Then if we look at the purple, it's a little bit more vertical as well, and then it goes diagonal, and then as you can see here, pretty much all diagonal, and there's definitely more room toward, you know, the beginning of the Guardian over here. So interesting change as well. Not sure if that's something that they wanted it to be a fix themselves, or if like the people were actually asking for that. Added interior passes besides subway entrance to the outer lanes. Cool. More ways to get through the buildings. So yeah, so that's gonna be it there. All right, now let's actually get into the game, look at some of Mirage's abilities, and kind of get an idea of how he plays. All right, so we're here in Deadlock, and the first thing I wanted to show you is they did redesign this menu. I think it's pretty sleek, it's pretty cool. I like it better than what they had before. Slowly, man, slowly they're just adding new things. I love it, I love it. All right, then we go to heroes. We got Mirage. So let's actually get into a private match. All right, and here we go. We got Mirage. So Mirage has a, I guess you could call it like a semi-automatic gun. It's not, you know, shredding, but assuming we're gonna be dealing a lot of damage here. If we go to the buddy, straight to the top, about 30, 34, 36, somewhere between 34, 36 damage in the head, and about 18 in the body. So pretty strong right out the gate. And you see one of his passive abilities right there as well. So if we actually go ahead and read his profile here, times his shots and catches fleeing targets, Mirage can envelop himself in a violent tornado to catch up to his enemies and lift them up. His Scarab helps him sustain against multiple enemies, and he's always ready to help an ally or push an enemy anywhere. So here's gonna be Tornado. So it looks like he tornadoes, dashes towards somebody, goes into a tornado and lifts them up, trapping them, which is pretty good because then your team obviously can go capitalize, shoot him while he's pretty much disarmed. Here we have the fire scarabs. I think I said fire scrabs earlier. The fire scarabs, they attach to the enemy, steal life. Pretty good, man. Already inherently a life stealing ability, so that's really good for longevity, keeping your character alive. And I assume obviously you could add the weapons and perks and stuff like that to give him even more DPS to stay alive. So right here, Degen's Mark, apply procs of escalating damage. So I assume this is every time you hit him, the damage just increases, or maybe you hit him once, you hit him again, and then when you actually shoot him with your gun, you end up dealing more damage. Not too sure how that's going to work, but we're going to check it out. And here we go, the crazy perk. Now, it's not an attacking perk, but you actually get the ability to teleport to any ally or enemy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So obviously this is really good for a lot of scenarios. If somebody's over by themselves, if an enemy's over there by themselves, simply teleport over there, catch them off guard, take them out. Or if your allies are somewhere way across the map and they're getting pieced up and need some support, simply ult, you get right over there. So pretty straightforward, All right, so here's his tornado ability. Boom. And as soon as you shoot him, he goes down. So very interesting. But somebody could easily, if you had a whole team, just start piecing him up, but then he's not going to be able to do much from there. Next ability is going to be the fire scarabs. It looks like you just kind of launch him, I guess. And then it just starts taking health from him, as you can see. Interesting. That probably could get beefed up pretty crazy. You guys see the builds on that. Next one is going to be the Degen's Mark. So here we go.
Only a fool opposes the gin. Taste the wrath of the
I'm not exactly sure what's happening here. Ah, okay. I think I got it. So you put it on him.
I won't stop.
And then as you just passively shoot him, kind of like I was saying in the very beginning when I was like speculating, the damage keeps going up. So if you get more rounds, and obviously if a bunch of people are shooting him and you tag him, you're gonna start shredding people pretty fast. That's insane. Finally, the teleport. I'm not sure if I could do it here, but let's try it. There we go. Should be teleporting to the right, and boom. That's crazy, man. So it looks like a 130-second cooldown. Very, very interesting character, man. I'm excited to see how people are gonna build this guy out. There's not too many characters that have like a semi-auto gun either, like this guy. So I definitely want to try this guy out. I'm gonna have a video coming out soon of me actually, playing a game and hopefully, piecing people up, working with a build and seeing what I could do from there. But overall, I think seems like he's gonna be a pretty solid character. He's definitely not really a focus in DPS, not really a focus as a tank. I think he's definitely more of like a support character to be there when when your team needs it, and to be able to have abilities to help support your team by lifting people up, adding damage that stacks. So I think he's definitely more of a support type character, opposed to being like a DPS or a tank, healer, anything like that. So that's definitely going to be pretty sick. And I'm sure since this game allows you to pretty much make a build however you want, you can also on top of that turn him into this DPS support type character, help your team out, but also be able to deal out tons and tons of damage. So I'm definitely going to be working around with the builds, see if I can get a really good build for y'all, for this guy specifically. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. That's going to be the new character Mirage, the crazy new anti-cheat measures that Valve is going ahead and taking, also working on that V2, so hopefully that comes out pretty soon, and all the various other map changes, miscellaneous changes, every perk change. There's been a lot of things. So like I said, if you want to get the full breakdown of every single thing they changed in this update, check down in the description for that. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like down below, subscribe. If you want more videos like this and more gameplay of Deadlock, please give me a subscription as well, and I'll see you next time.